Good evening everyone, my name is Anggun with student number 0673. Today I will be discussing something that will change the way we perceive the world. This is not merely a policy, but it is a massive way influencing every aspect of our lives in Indonesia. A fundamental change is occurring on the global economic stage and its impacts are already being felt. This is about how high-tech policies in the United States, which may seem distant, actually have profound implications for our country's economy, business, and even politics. We often hear about economic policies, but not many of us truly understand their extent and consequence comprehensively. Today, I'm speaking not only to convey information, but to open our eyes to a new reality. A reality where policies connected in one part of the world can shake the foundation of our industries, affecting the lives of millions, and even shaping our political landscape. Our goal here is to dissect and understand in detail how these high-tech policies in the US operate and what they mean for all of us. Why this is important? Because this knowledge is not just for economics or politicians. This is insight that will empower all of us to make better decisions as a business actor, workers, or even as citizens. Let's understand together the impact that will help us to identify new opportunities, to mitigate risks, and even to innovate amidst changes. It is hoped that with a deeper understanding, we can collectively seek solutions and ensure that Indonesia remains strong and recently during this global transition. Without further ado, my colleague will present our material today. The first presentation will deliver by Vivia.
Okay, hello, I'm Vivia, student number 0619. In this discussion, I will elaborate application of the United States tax increase in Indonesia. Before that, recently, the United States has implemented a high tax or import tariff policy on goods from foreign countries, including products from Indonesia. This policy aims to protect domestic industries in the US by making imported goods more expensive. However, this policy also has significant impact on countries that are trade partner with the United States, including Indonesia. Then, let's move on the main discussion. The impact of United States high tax policy on Indonesia's economy. First, decline in export to the United States. The United States is one of Indonesia's largest export market. Many Indonesian products such as textile, garment, footwear, furniture, electronics, and agricultural products are shipped to the United States. However, with the high import tariff, the prices of Indonesian products in the US market become more expensive. As a result, US consumers tend to switch to local products or products from other countries with lower tariff. This decline in export directly affects the country's revenue from the export sector. If sector decline, the foreign exchange entering Indonesia will also decrease, which can slow down national economic growth. Second, the impact on industry and labor. The industrial sector more affected is labor-intensive industries such as textile and footwear, which employ a workforce. If export demand declines, companies in this sector will experience a decline in production. As a result, they may have to reduce the number of employees or even close factories. This layoff will not only have workers but also increase unemployment and poverty rates in Indonesia. This social condition can lead to instability that affect domestic politics. Third, disruption of supply chain and production costs to export. Import of raw materials and components from the US are also affected by high tariff. The increased import costs force Indonesian manufacturing industries to incur higher production costs. This can reduce company profit and slow down the growth of the manufacturing sector. Last, the pressure on the rupiah exchange rate. The US high tariff policy also creates uncertainty in the global financial market. Investors become more cautious and tend to withdraw their investment from developing countries, including Indonesia. This causes the rupiah exchange rate against an US dollar to weaken. A weakened rupiah makes the price of imported goods from the US more expensive. Since many raw material and production machinery are imported from the US, production costs in Indonesia also rise. This increase in costs can make Indonesian product less competitive in the global market. Okay, thank you all for your attention. That's all for now. Next, my friend will take over and explain further.
Hello, I'm Delvia with student number 0625. The impact on Indonesia business. 1. Difficulties for export companies. Companies that rely on the American market must face significant challenge. They need to adjust their product price to remain competitive. However, the increase in the tariff has made the selling price more expensive. Some companies may have to lower their profit or even incur loss. 2. The risk of elimination of employment. The decline in production and profit for companies has the potential to lead to layoffs. This situation not only harms workers but also reduces the purchasing power of the public, which in turn affects domestic consumption. 3. Opportunities for industrial relations. On the other hand, the trade war between the United States and China is prompting several companies to seek new location for locating their work. Indonesia has the opportunity to attract foreign direct investments (FDI) from companies looking China. However, this requires readiness in infrastructure, skill labor, and support impact on politics in Indonesia. One, potential for social and political. The potential for social and political instability due to the U.S. high import tariff policy has led to a decline in Indonesia export to the U.S., particularly labor-intensive products such as textile, footwear, and electronic. The decline in export has the potential to cause companies in the sector to reduce production or implement scale layoffs. Mass layoffs could increase unemployment and poverty rate, which in unstable social trend could lead to social tensions on community. Thank you all for your attention. That's all from me. Next, my friend will take over by Alicia.
I'm Alisa with study number 0658. The impact of U.S. import policies on Indonesia and its opportunities. The United States implementation of high import tariffs has significantly impacted Indonesia. Economical, this policy has led to this rise in Indonesia product export to the U.S., which ultimately result in reduced foreign exchange earnings and a slowdown in national economic growth. Labor-intensive industries such as text and footwear are among the most affected potentiality, leading to mass layoffs, a rise in unemployment, and increased profit. Furthermore, the policies have pressured the rupiah's exchange rate and supply chains have been disrupted due to the increased cost of raw material import. For Indonesian business, this challenge significant for export companies and elevated risk of layoff, social political implication and strange response. Politically, the potential for mass layoffs and increased unemployment could threaten social and political instability domestically. Nevertheless, amidst this challenge, Indonesia has an opportunity to deserve its export market. This signifies that Indonesia must proactively seek new buyers worldwide for its product, preventing over-reliance on a handful of countries and commodities. By doing so, the economy can grow more stable and robust, improving the investment climate and attracting industrial relaxation from countries like China. To achieve this, strategic steps are required to mitigate negative impacts and to capitalize on emerging opportunities. This is all we can convey. We appreciate your attention and time. Before we end our presentation today, there is a quote from Isaac Newton said, "What we know is a drop, what we don't know is an ocean." Within the presentation, we hope that we'll all continue to learn and speak more drops knowledge. See you next time. Thank you.